Wallace Roney.
Thank you, thank you. This is really an honor to be part of this, and the fact that they're doing this for Miles. I know Miles would love this. And it's, what you're saying right now is history, in my opinion. You got the people that he really loved here. You know, there's a lot of people that could be here that's not here, but the people that's here is the one that count. You know, we have George Coleman, M. Toomey, you know, Miles loved M. Toomey. We have Quincy Troop, Gary Bartz. These guys are so close. We got his nephew, Vince Wilburn, who was actually the one who actually brought him back from retirement. I had to say that. And myself, you know, who I'm very honored that I was that was probably the only trumpet player that he kind of really took in. I mean, he was definitely supportive of a lot of great musicians, and Dizzy was his idol, and he loved a lot of great trumpet players that he told me he mentored Lee Morgan, and he liked Woody Shaw and Freddie Hubbard. But I think I might have been the only one he really took and let us hang around him a lot, you know. And I got a chance to learn a lot of things from him and be up close and see things, you know. I like to joke and say I might have been, other than Tony, Herbie, Ron, and maybe Gary and George, the only person he taught music to. But I was fortunate he did share a lot of things with me. And at the time when I met him in '83, and later on down the road, I started playing with Tony Williams. And when I started playing with Tony Williams, it was funny. I played with Tony and Art Blakey, and I had a choice. I had to choose who am I going to play with. And this, honest to goodness, true story, of course. I'm leaning to Tony, and Art really wants me in the band. So one day Art says, "Come on, Wallace, let's go see Miles." So we go to see Miles. He knew I was close to Miles. So we go to Miles' place, and I'm looking at Miles like I always look at him with my eyes wide open, and Miles is looking at Art with his eyes wide open. "Buena, what you doing here?" And then they start talking. He says, "Wally, you gotta stick with Buena. Buena's the man. You should hear me and Boo in 1953 and telling me all this stuff." And I'm sitting up there soaking it all in, and they're talking. Then finally Boo leaves, and I stick around a little longer. And then I leave. Then I go on the road with Art Blakey. We do a tour. It's cool. Then I come back, and I had to make the hard decision to stick with Tony. So, go with Tony, and Miles sees me, and Miles says, "Wally, how's Boo doing?" I go, he's doing fine." I didn't want to tell him I quit. So he said, "Okay." And then we talk, and then I see him again maybe a couple months later. "How's the Boo?" And every time I see him, every time I say this, I say it with a desperate voice, "He's fine." So one day, I go up to his place, and you just walk in the door, you know, and he's standing there, he says, "So, you're not with Buena anymore?" And I'm trying to explain, "Well, Miles," he said, "No, you left Buena and you're playing with Tony." And I said, "But," he said, "Oh, shit. I know you're playing your butt off now, because Tony don't like no trumpet players but me." And that was it. It was great. Anyway, I got a million of those kind of stories, but I'm fortunate, I'm thankful to be here.
Take care, brother. So good to see you. Gary Bartz.
The Gary Barker. That's right. Hello. Miles Davis. Miles Davis. Probably the first time I saw Miles, I was then about 13 or 14 years old. And I saw the band with John Coltrane, Red Garland, Paul Chambers, Philly Joe Jones. And I was all in already because after I heard Charlie Parker, I did it. But to get a chance, I moved to New York when I was 17. I used to go down to Birdland all the time, and I'd see Miles at the bar hanging out with J.J. Johnson or somebody. And the young guys, we would all stand around there and try to listen to what they were saying, and wonder whether he knew who we were. Because I met him many, many times. I must have met Miles about 25 times, and then about the 26 times he met me. I was working at Count Basie's with Max Roach, and Miles was the other band. There were two bands, really historic occasion. But I'm not going to talk too much, but to me, I mean, Miles was, he taught me the essence of being a true artist, because he's an artist. I wouldn't call him even a musician. He's an artist whose medium happened to be music, but he also had other mediums that he did. He was designer. He designed his house. He designed his clothes. He made, he did many things. He was a true artist, that's all. And one of the funniest men I've ever had the opportunity to be around. We laughed. I was with him for 2 years. We laughed for 2 years. From the early morning to the last thing at night. He might say anything. I won't even go into those stories. Those are for later. But we'd be here all night. But I just want to say that it was a great pleasure and an honor to just be around him, much less play with him and learn from him. And we will always love Miles Davis.